Howdy folks, we've got something a little bit unusual, from me at least. We've got Treim's rPvE 10 map of the month, and Treim is here with me, joining.
Yes, hello.
So we see a blaster cannon, and Sunderer, and Nomad. Okay, this is too much for me. so so blaster cannon, obviously, because you expect some flying units to come attack you. I would never see this in PvP. Honestly, I barely know what this card does, but it has rage, and it I guess does a ton of damage to your units. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. And maybe you can disable the fog of war,
sure. Yeah.
so people can actually see what the camp is like. So you got like 2 air units, 2 bandit spearmen, 2 archers that actually have like a resistance to spell and range attacks,
Okay.
and the bandit sorcerers. So quite annoying for any start. And the reason why you start like a little bit unconventional with anything spawning or defending your T1 essentially, or
Hmm.
instead of going Tier 2, which is on top of the map, is because once you attack the T2 or any camp for that matter that you have access to,
Hmm.
the income that will spawn next to your T1 will essentially pull the whole camp to your T1, and it's not efficient to defend that because it's so much, and once it respawns, it will come again. So you have to clear it like continuously. So the best way is to actually just clear the camp. First, I mean, the important thing for that is essentially that you want to keep as many units as possible, because obviously otherwise you just spend a lot of power for no real gain.
Hmm.
So yeah, you want to keep the units and use them to attack your T2. That's why I also use the Sunderer for the spawn camp. Otherwise, with Fire Tier 1 start, it's quite usual to use Eruption to kill the
Hmm.
spawn, and maybe a couple of Nomads hits. So like 3
Okay.
Eruptions and then a couple of Nomads, or 4 Eruptions straight out.
Hmm.
Yeah, Sunderer allows you to do that without any eruptions, so you keep essentially your spawn nuker
Okay.
alive and
And
bound instead of
you're gonna be
spending
able to
300 power.
you're gonna be able to keep this guy alive.
Yes.
I'm skeptical, but
So
if anyone can do it, you can,
you will
Treim.
see. So, essentially, what the Sunderer will do, he will wrap around. He will not attack the T2, but he will wrap around and go to the camp next to you, or my T1,
Okay.
the one that
Um,
you looked at the start. Yeah, that one.
and the
So that is
Nomad.
just so
Mhm.
he gets a better angle of attack, so he can directly go to
I see.
or
So
attack
you're gonna
the.
come attack here.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. I see. Without triggering his run guys. Got it.
Yes, because
Hmm.
essentially they were slow, and you're running through a lot of units. You take a lot of damage, and so that's quite inefficient. We won't be able to keep them alive. So
Okay.
yeah, you can run the replay. It's quite a while out before
Oh,
I actually attack.
fair enough. And what's the Nomad for?
So the Nomad is the main tank unit essentially. So what will happen is that I will pull the camp with 2 mines being on place, and then 3 Nomads for the regeneration,
Hmm.
and pull out the camp so they
Got it.
fall from the back and kill the spawn with the ability,
Hmm.
um, and a couple of auto attacks. Yeah, you can be a little bit unlucky because the units in the camp shouldn't die too early, but they can't die too late either.
Ah,
So it's a little bit tricky to get the start right.
okay.
So it
So what
cost
happens
me
if
a couple of restarts to get this right.
okay, what happens if they die too early?
So then they will respawn because the Thunder doesn't have enough upfront damage. So
Ah,
we'll
I see.
either have to erupt or they will respawn. And if they respawn, the run is. And we can maybe save it, but it will get a little more difficult.
Okay, I see.
Of the follow up to the attack, essentially. We'll see. I will explain once we're at there. So the Sunrise starts walking on top, and
Hmm.
then now I pull with the Nomads. So pull them out just fine. So the archers take actually a lot of damage. The spearmen are alive for a little bit longer.
Hmm.
The Sunra takes out the camp. You focus the archers because they won't all die from the mines, because
Okay.
they are resistant to spells and range attacks, if you remember.
Hmm.
So now I go back and put down a mine, so I can kill the rest plus the income that came from the base
Got it.
below.
Hmm.
And we will have to keep that alive a little bit longer. because now as the income actually died, which wasn't planned. It should have been alive with a little bit of HP. Now I have to rush the tower to get the block. So I block the income later on. So I don't have to worry about the camp at the bottom for a while.
Let's take a moment and explain this for the rPvE noobs, which is...
Spawn mechanics in rPvE work like that. So once you attack a camp, every adjacent camp will spawn troops from their spawn building. But those troops will only, or that whole wave will only respawn once every unit of that wave is dead. So what you can do is, if you have like these archer squads, for example, you can leave one unit out of that whole squad alive, so it does like barely any damage. But because that unit is still alive, the waves won't respawn. So you just have to make sure to keep that one squad alive and or that one unit alive, and you're good to go. You don't have to bother with anything anymore.
Great. So
that's
you wanted to leave one archer alive here. That didn't quite happen, so you built this just so they attack it instead of your main base?
Yes, exactly. So now I have to do it again. So I have another try, essentially. I let it respawn, and now you see the wave on the bottom. I want to keep that one alive. I made a slight mistake to put the archers on top as well. So that one should have stayed alive, but now it's in range of the monument. So I will have to kill it and let it respawn, and I will have to wait again. So now you can see on the bottom that archer squad, quite lonely. Now it will go on the blaster cannon. You just have to make sure, essentially, to keep these guys away from the orb, because otherwise the orb will kill it. So you spawn like a building, and either instead of directly in front of the orb, or a little place away so the orb can't reach. Let the Sunderer regenerate a little bit, wait for the income, for the wave on top to come a little bit closer, because I will have to set up a blaster cannon again, so that will take a little bit of room.
Okay.
It's the same camp, essentially. It's the same units, same composition. That's usually true for early on for most rPvE maps, actually. That essentially a layer of camps is quite comparable in strength.
Okay.
So there's like only certain units can spawn, essentially. So you can see the archers are alive again. I can set up the blaster cannon and put on the mines. Could have done it a little bit earlier, actually. So now I'm wasting a little bit of time.
It looks to me like you're pressing F to hold position. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
So for anyone who's not doing that much rPvE, that's a very important hotkey. It's this button, or you push F, and the units will stop moving, and that prevents them from automatically attacking.
Hold position works as well. The shield next to it.
What was that?
Now you can see, actually, the bandit spearman died too early, so now I had to erupt, because the thunder wouldn't reach in time. So the bandit spearman would respawn. So I chose to erupt. A little bit unlucky now with the mine, because the bandit spearman will dodge, essentially.
Okay, yeah.
And that cost me a little bit of time, but didn't want to restart the run at that point, because the start otherwise was pretty okay.
Okay.
And I already was like playing for an hour and a half or something, trying out different starts. So, but you could improve it for sure. It's not perfect, So same principle. So that wave comes from the tier 3. So you want to keep it alive, but otherwise it will respawn. And the camp is quite close, as you can see. So risk of pulling something is there for sure. So
yeah. That's a scary camp.
Yes.
Oh, you're gonna
actually.
Sunder?
I could have pulled the Sunderer can die now, actually.
Okay.
Realized a little bit too late. I just wanted to pull out the archers far enough. I could have probably taken the wells before, but better safe than sorry.
Okay.
Wasn't really too hard on restarting the map again.
Treasure chest.
Taking the gold chest. Now waiting a little bit. You can see, like, maybe you can move to the tier 1 a little bit, where the blaster cannon is positioned. You can see it's quite healthy still, but we're getting to dangerous territory. So what I will later do is, also because the camp on the bottom has Also the crystal fiends, so I will pull them. So I build another blaster cannon there just to be sure to kill them.
Okay. And
later on, because now I'm building shadow phoenixes
okay,
and embalmer shrines.
shadow phoenixes are so good for
Yes, it's
rPvE.
for sure the most efficient way to get through these kinds of camps at the tier 3, because a lot of HP, a lot of high attack values. So yeah, double embalmers to keep them up continuously, and then I think I'll do 4 shadow phoenixes and clear the camp on the bottom first, because once the shadow phoenixes attack essentially, or do like the kamikaze attack, they will be voidless. So all the power that you spent to spawn them will return to your void pool. So you get them back over time. So they don't bind any power any longer. So that allows you to spawn more phoenixes faster.
Right.
So that is quite helpful, obviously. If you
Treim has had almost nothing die so far, so his void pool is quite low. But this should go up by a little less than
yes,
400 once your 4 phoenix is dropped.
yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm ready now. Stack them a little bit so that I can attack the same target with everything, without that they will all essentially attack without some stopping the attack, because the target is already dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, they all die. All will be alive, but I will take care of that a little bit later.
You'll take care of that building later, and then he follows you to die in the blaster cannon, right?
Yes, exactly.
Got it. Cool. And your void power is quite healthy now.
And as you can see, there's already an income coming to my tier 2. So I built a furnace of flesh as well, or it's building.
Oh,
Yeah.
here.
It's coming from the camp like to the very left of my tier 1.
This one?
That one, yeah. Because the adjacent camp that I just attacked, yeah, or was attacked, and so it spawns troops now. So I set a mine. I don't actually want that archer squad to die yet.
Okay.
Because then it will the camp will respawn those units.
So the spawns always attack your most recently built orb. Is that right?
Yeah. So if, for example, if I would attack the base that you're now showing, then the tier 4 camp would start spawning units as well. The one on the bottom.
It seems most natural to me that when this camp spawns some enemies, they would come down and they would attack you this way. But because this is your most recently built orb, they go
Yes,
the long
exactly.
way to attack here. Is that
Yes,
correct?
exactly.
Great.
It's also, you also have to note that the monument, or that the monument that is essentially at the point that the units spawn, is the one they run to. So if they are essentially already on the way and you take another monument, that doesn't really matter to the spawn.
They get their
So
instructions
that
on birth.
is quite helpful on some maps, so you can manipulate when you, manipulate when you kill certain waves, so they run to another orb essentially.
Got it.
So yeah. So I think So if you want to be safe here, to kill like a Tortugoon or a Construct, you need at least 10 Phoenixes that actually also dive or attack. So usually these camps have like a Nox Sniper or like a Bandit Sniper. So they almost insta-kill a Phoenix with like their shots. So you usually want to have at least 11.
Okay.
If you want to get most of them back, but yeah, I decided to take just 9 actually.
Yeah, looks like
because I'm a risky guy and was impatient. And my monument got a little bit low. Yeah, you want to keep flying until the shot is out, because otherwise you will lose a lot of phoenixes to it. You can see I died. Won't die yet, but get like only 4 back as well. But that's enough to actually. Well, it's 5 actually, but it's enough to take care of the camp. I can go with my nomads, clear the archers from the second, from the spawn waves, or from the bottom, so it respawns. Clear the camp with my phoenixes in the meantime. And tier 3 is clear at like 10 minutes. Pretty sure you could do like maybe a minute faster almost, if you get like a perfect start. But yeah. Now I kill my phoenixes. I'm a little bit indecisive with my nomads because I know that the spawn will, or the wave will come soon.
Mhm.
Then I just realized that I have play fire and have access to mine, so it won't be a problem.
Okay.
So no, should I kill the nomads as well?
Okay.
Doing double shadow for the cultist master access
Okay.
to get my void down because it's like at 450, I think.
Mhm. Is there a reason you built your furnace of flesh over here instead of over here?
Yeah, if you remember the wave that came to my tier 2, I wanted to catch that with the furnace as well to
Okay.
get faster phoenixes, right? And so I don't actually want to, because cult masters give so much void back that
Your forces are under
yeah, you
attack.
want to not rebuild it essentially.
Okay.
That one for defense, the army monument. I also switched orbs now if you're moving
Okay.
to tier 1 because I don't actually want the fire orb yet. I want double
Okay.
nature if you remember.
I see.
For the enlightenment. Yeah, and also spawned a cultist master with the crawlers to take care of that remaining tower.
So double shadow, double nature. This seems like a
Double nature.
pretty popular orb choice for
Yeah.
everything.
Now, it will change again later on, but first I need to enlighten my Batarial.
Okay.
So I think it should come any second now. Yeah. The cultist masters are a little bit synchronized, but I think we'll
Is that
wait a
intentional
little bit
or
longer.
not quite?
No, it's you always want to have actually killer to synchronize them again.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's extra clicks that you are not with the Batarial essentially, or that you. So yeah, you want to have them synchronized so they spawn all 9 crawlers.
All right.
Yeah, I debuilt the army monument again.
So now you're
To get a player up. Yeah, I did
Your forces
buff
are
my
under
Batarial
attack.
though with Unholy Hero in the meantime, so
Okay.
it does full damage and I don't lose anything by going or switching orbs. So I have full access to all my buffs. Just the
Okay.
T4 heal spell is not available to me at the moment.
Got it.
So you do actually switch orbs, so you have
Ac-
access to disenchant because
Disenchant.
these maps usually have a lot of CC. So if you're very good, you can obviously also see it with like Frantic Assault or Curse of Oink, but I always prefer to have disenchant, especially because there's a couple bosses that, like the Ice Lord, that can freeze you. John later on has like miniature versions of him, so it also freeze. You can dodge that the freeze from the Ice Lord actually with Nether Warp once he's in the animation. Takes a while for the freeze to take hold. So if you warp in that time, you can dodge it, and then he has a cooldown on that ability. So that's might be helpful for some people as well. Use the ability for extra damage. I don't think the lava actually hit him, which is a little bit unfortunate. Reposition to also kill the tower with Maora, which was actually a mistake in this run because now he's able to respawn the ice shielding, and so it cost me more time. Yeah, that was the ability. That's why you have disenchant. Also, I spawned a second pair of cultist meisters at my tier 3.
Here.
So what you want to do is essentially, once the ability is like on 50% cooldown for for one pair essentially, or for one group of cultist meisters, you want to activate the second so you get like a continuous cycle of void return.
And are you killing them yourself or just
Because
letting them naturally die?
you can just run them out. You kill them only if you really need the power,
Okay.
but usually it's enough to just let them run out.
Okay.
You need to be to get too far with it because you always have to jump there, right, with the camera.
Right.
So
So annoying.
it's always a risk.
Uh-huh.
Especially if you're like fresh into a camp and everything hits you.
Yeah.
Because there's quite a lot. Yeah, you first go the upper path because it's the easier way, obviously. No, I actually use the ability, which is a mistake because on top there's the equestrian twins and they have a debuff once they attack you, so you do less damage. And you want to essentially use the ability of Batarial before on max range essentially, so they run into the ability. You can warp behind them, use infect maybe even, and then they are at like 30% health or something. once they actually have the chance to even attack you. So makes the camp a lot easier or faster to clear.
Okay. So you're saying the
Can run
ability
the
was a
clip.
mistake because you wanted to use it up here?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's off cooldown right now, right? So
Yeah.
it's on cooldown. So you want to use it at like here essentially. So
Yeah,
they
I
run
see.
into the ability and you can walk behind them. No, I don't have that. So something like this.
I see.
You can,
The Nomad just for the treasure
once
chest?
they attack you, yes, exactly. It will also be used later on to walk me back, so it's
Okay.
faster. So you can see
You
if
gotta
you
make
go
up
to
your
the
excuses
material
first.
again or click on it,
Uh-huh.
you can see the debuff on it. Yeah, that one.
From the Bandit Lancer?
Permanent, 50% less damage. So for a speedrun, a little bit suboptimal.
Uh-huh. You can disenchant to get to that, is that right?
It will apply it again, so you have to disenchant afterwards. Yes, after the camp is done.
Okay.
So
Oh, is that a permanent
yeah.
50% debuff?
It's permanent. Yes,
Wow.
it's a permanent debuff.
Okay.
So if you have a unit that is applied with it and you have offering, just offer that unit and respawn it.
Okay.
It's not worth to keep it.
Wow.
At least if you avoid return.
Uh-huh. Would
Or
the Green
disenchant.
Dryad prevent that?
Also. I don't think so.
Okay.
But yeah. It's more of the same material. The camp is very... So actually why there's no income coming out, you might have seen that, is because the Soul Hunter is stuck between the artillery and the two spawn camps and can't get out of the camp, so it was the income was stuck there.
Okay. Is that something you did, or does that just kind of always happen on this map?
It's just the map layout essentially and how the income spawns.
Okay.
That's just how the map is. It's very, relatively rare, but it does happen from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
So tightly
always
packed.
apparent when you check the replay, or if you are experienced enough and see, hey, why don't I get an income suddenly? And I was a little bit flustered, to be honest, because I didn't expect it. The warship is a little bit annoying because you can't really want to have the tattoo gun with me. So dies while I take the ship of war. You can't really use the Fallen Sky for this one, for example, because the AoE is too strong and the Fallen Sky will die in like 4 shots or something.
Ah, okay.
Can't out-heal it essentially, because your healing spells will be off on cooldown.
Okay.
So you have to do it the slow way. Also, Bloodhound is, for example, not that good against Ship of War because it only uses the weak attack that it has.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, Batteria is actually the best way to kill it.
Okay.
At least if you only have one unit. Yeah, that's what you wanted to do for the Equestrian Twins as well. You wanted to use the ability before you are in the camp.
Okay.
That income is stuck as well, by the way, I think. So we had like quite a rare occurrence. You see these little guys that spawn from drawn? Those guys can also freeze, like the Ice Lord. So you have to CC them once they're out of their spawn animation.
Okay.
Because otherwise you get a problem. Or
Okay.
it will take a longer time to actually kill it. Yeah, so that was the replay already.
Wow. Very cool. rPvE 10. Is this the fastest time for the month? Or just your fastest time?
So far, yes. So far it is the fastest
Okay,
time.
so far it's the fastest time for the month. Hopefully I get this uploaded a couple days before the month ends, so you can learn from Treim and try and beat his run. Maybe this will encourage you to try and get faster, Treim.
Yeah, sure. Do your best.
Alright, well then, thank you for joining me, Treim. I hope everyone who saw a rPvE 9 speedrun and they weren't expecting it, I hope you learned something. And I'll see you in the next video.